Before I begin, I want you to imagine that this is a real life situation, which of course it is. But I want you to imagine that it's more than what it is. I want you to imagine you are listening to the sound of my voice. Of course, you may not know what the sound of my voice sounds like. That doesn't matter. So long as you can imagine the sound of a voice, which might be any voice, a male voice, a female voice, a trans voice. Ultimately, the sound of the voice belongs to you. An Utter Disgrace by Bernard Walsh. The 10 Commandments, which God supposedly wrote with his fingertip. I raise the index fingertip on my right hand to show it to you, an audience. Yes, with his fingertip. And I'm using the word supposedly here with a consciousness, or should I say an awareness, brought about through an effort, a conscious effort on my part, to think about whatever it is I think I am about to say. That some people, I think, might think it is inappropriate of me to use the word supposedly here in relation to the notion of what, or of who God is. What they themselves might already have in mind, a clear sense of who or of whatever else it is he is supposed to be. To be that which they might already have in mind, a clear sense of who or of whatever else it is he is supposed to be to themselves, of course, an image of God that so many of us inherit, an image of him as Almighty God, a Father, and the creator of everything that exists, or that might have already been set to exist in heaven and upon the earth below. Therefore, I think I will maintain an emphasis by placing either side of the word supposedly, to indicate I'm still thinking about it. I use both my index fingertips to illustrate this point, the usual gesture. I am still questioning myself as to whether or not I think I am about to say whatever it is I think I am about to write, and now, of course, I have. I have already written it. I am about to say it. I'm not sure God did write the 10 Commandments with his fingertip. Yes, with his fingertip. I hold my index fingertip up into the air again, and I look at it with a raised eyebrow. I'm not sure which one, but whichever one it is, I think it must indicate I'm still thinking about the possibility of me being able to raise a question in relation to what he or may not have done. There is, I must say, or at least I feel as though I want to say another question coming into my mind at the moment, and within this context, the context of me speaking to you. There is, I must say, or at least as though I feel as though I want to say, another question coming into my mind at the moment and within this context. The context of me speaking to you, as I am now through these words, that I'm also aware of the fact, or is it even a fact in fact? Is a fact ever a fact in fact? Well, we know it is something, don't we? And that is all we need to know. To know it is something, a something or another, that is in fact whatever it is supposed to be. To be that which is in fact whatever it is a fact is supposed to be. or is supposed to become, a something or another that is inevitably a something or another in relation to another thing that is also called a fact, because a fact is in fact a generic title for all things that pertain to be that which is in fact whatever it is that they are pertaining to be, that which is in fact a fact in fact, or they are facts in fact, if there is more than one of them coming into play at a particular moment of time. Or is it in time? I think it is in time. But while I'm speaking to you, as I am now through these words, I am also aware of the fact that I'm also asking you to consider another question that is already coming through my mind. I press all of my fingertips into both sides of my head, and I can feel the question. It is here. Did God actually write the 10 Commandments at all? And what I'm not doing here, and I really want to emphasize this point by repeating the same words, what I'm not doing here, or is it there, or it is wherever it is, I am not calling into question their authenticity, an awkward word I know, but aren't all words awkward, aren't they? What I mean to say by saying this is, I do not doubt that the 10 Commandments exist, that they are themselves whatever it is they are being, by being whatever it is they might appear to be, or by being whatever it is they might sound like, to look and to sound like, or to look and to sound as though they are a series of edicts that are coming to us from somewhere or another that is on a much higher plane than we are ourselves at this moment of time, all together now, aren't we? Having to contend with a seemingly endless repetition of the same old selection of words that are meant to, I think, we are meant to assume that those words are meant to represent an indissoluble notion of truth. And I'm wondering why. Why is it? Or does it always have to be this way? That those who might assume they already know what a truth is what it is supposed to be, to themselves, of course, would try to disrupt the course of a conversation with the following incantation. Thou shalt not do this, and or thou shalt not do that, etc., etc. An oppressive tendency that is already there within themselves, as perhaps they believe their point of view is driven from a specific position whereby they see themselves as being the rightful heirs to an ultimate authority to which all others must acquiesce. And why do they think they can get away with it? Because I think they know they are operating through a very simple formula. I think I will call it a formula now rather than a concept. Originally I defined it as being a concept. Now I realise there is a profound difference between one and the other. A concept is, at least in my mind, it is whatever might develop through a gradual process of thinking, through the creation and translation of an impression. We form an impression in our own mind, whereas a formula only requires the application of a method to produce what is in effect the same answer over and over again. This is what it is, and this is all there is to it, over and over and over again. There is no vagueness here, or is it there? As it is already whatever it is that it is supposed to be. Neither is there any room to manoeuvre through an imaginative process that might call into question an assumption that there is such a thing as an ultimate authority to which all others must acquiesce. Its lack of subtlety is its strength. For those of us who are prepared to acquiesce, I would say it is a good time for you to sit back and relax your thoughts for a while. You might already have your posters at the ready or ready to display a glib certitude. If it looks good, and if it sounds all right, then I think we're meant to assume it is okay, isn't it? To just go with the flow, to buy the t-shirt, put the poster in the window, and to rattle your pots and pans on a Thursday evening. Your country needs you. All for one and one for all, but not for everyone, it would seem, as though I am suddenly in a nightmare where I'm swimming against the tide of a complacent herd. I am accused of moral turpitude. Its lack of subtlety becomes its strength. A sloganeering campaign, obviously designed to stop anyone thinking too deeply about the particular issues at stake. If it looks good, and if it sounds all right, then I think we are meant to assume it is okay, isn't it? Just to sit back and to relax your thoughts for a while. Instead of reason, we are given findings, extracts from market surveys, online petitions, and democratic procedures where an X is meant to mark a particular position. But love is, isn't it? Whatever it is, they might tell us what it is supposed to be, but only according to the rules they inherited from their parents, who inherited them from theirs, who inherited them from theirs, and so on and so forth, as we travel through the annals of time. But what about the love that dare not speak, and not too long ago, within my lifetime, that dare not even speak its name, because it wasn't whatever it was they told us what it was supposed to be? Your country needs you, but does it also need #MeToo? Its lack of subtlety is its strength. There is no vagueness here, is there? Or any room to manoeuvre through a static notion of what God is supposed to be, the Almighty God in whom we are all meant to trust in the words he supposedly wrote with his fingertip. Yes, with his fingertip. And I use the word supposedly here with a consciousness, or should I say an awareness, that is brought about through an effort, a conscious effort on my part to think about whatever it is I think I am about to say. Thank you.